Hey everyone. In their annual shareholder letter, Amazon elaborated on how it built its competitive advantages, and I felt it was really insightful for Amazon stock investors to consider how they built these advantages and what it could mean longer term. So I'm going to go dig deeply, look at these latest developments and how they developed all of these capabilities and why it could lead to increasing shareholder gains in the long run. So let's take a look.
I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now.
Here's an interesting passage from the annual shareholder letter from the CEO here saying that in Amazon's early years, we built core capabilities around warehousing items and then picking, packing, and shipping them quickly and reliably to customers. As we added third-party sellers to our marketplace, they frequently requested being able to use these same logistics capabilities. So two things there, let me unpack it one at a time. Now, in Amazon's early years, there were several aspects to the business, right? They had to complete several tasks effectively in order to grow the business, build the business, and get to a sustainable level. One of those things they had to learn was warehousing, right? Picking, packing, shipping items, all of that on the back end. After somebody buys something, how do you deal with that? How do you get those things to customers, right? That key capability. And so Amazon worked really hard at that task. It worked on how to do it better, how to do it faster, how to do it cheaper, more effectively. It studied, it experimented, it innovated over a number of years, and it learned and it improved and it learned and it improved. And eventually it got so good at that capability where that capability itself became a service that it could sell. And that's what it does now. As they added third-party sellers onto their platform, because in the early days, I should say, Amazon used to own all of the inventory. It would buy the inventory and sell the inventory. There was no third-party business. But as they added these third-party sellers to the marketplace, those third-party sellers said, man, you guys are so good at this. Can you allow us to use that? Can you sell that service to us so that we don't have to deal with that part of the business? Because it's a clunky thing to deal with, right? You have inventory coming inbound, sorting it, categorizing it, boxing it, keeping it, and then when it comes time for a customer to buy it and then shipping it, finding where it is, putting it, loading it, sending it out. Are you taking it to UPS? Are they coming to pick it up? All of those questions, right? The back end, it's difficult, right? And so Amazon got really good at that. And now it's one of its core competencies. It's one of its competitive advantages where it does this better than many business owners can do themselves. It does it better than if a business was to do it themselves. So they look at it and say, why would we do this ourselves? Storing, picking, packing, shipping. Why would we do it ourselves when we can outsource it to Amazon and they'll do it at a lower price than we could do it once we consider how much time it takes for us to complete this task? We can buy that service from Amazon and we can focus on innovating our own products and generating sales, and then let Amazon take care of that. So that's just one way, one category Amazon built up, and it's now a competitive advantage. And the key to that is it focused on itself first and how to do it themselves. And once they perfected the process, once they improved the process to a certain degree, they can now sell that to someone else, that service to someone else. And that's been pretty much the story of Amazon, is that process where they need to do something for themselves and they work on it, they study, they improve, they iterate better and better and better and better. And it gets to a point where that specific skill or task or process is so improved that they can now sell it to a third party. They can sell it to someone else. And so this service has saved substantial time and money for sellers. Typically, it costs about 70% less than doing it yourself. And it remains one of Amazon's most popular services. 70% less. That's a huge improvement. And, I used to sell items on eBay, and I can confirm that it's a hassle, especially when you're dealing with bulkier items, heavier items, packing it, shipping it, doing all of that. And it takes time. It's time consuming. And unless you're doing it at high volume, it's difficult to get really good at that. But Amazon has mastered it. So by outsourcing it to Amazon, regardless of your size of your package, the weight, the geography of the items, where it's coming from, where it's going to, Amazon has perfected all of those, and it could provide that service to sellers more cost effectively. So they go on to say that because we don't have enough space in our shipping fulfillment centers to store all the inventory needed to maintain their desired in-stock levels, they've built a set of lower cost upstream warehouses solely optimized for storage without the sophisticated end user pick, pack, and ship functions. So this was another way Amazon lowered its cost and improved the process, is by separating the categories of inventory by collecting data, determining the highest moving items, the highest frequency moving items, storing those in the areas that have the higher technology with the pick, pack, and ship skills, and then the other inventory storing it somewhere else. And this is yet another way Amazon optimizes that whole fulfillment and logistic business and operates at a lower cost than a business owner might be able to do. He goes on to say that in the last few years, our scale and available alternatives have forced us to build our own last mile delivery capability. And their delivery capability, the last mile delivery capability, where you see those Amazon vans coming in your neighborhood and double parking annoyingly and delivering items to people's doorsteps, they've built that out themselves, and that's now the size of UPS, that business. And they build this to affordably serve the number of consumers and sellers wanting to use Amazon. And so for those wanting to manage their own shipping, they've started allowing customers to use their last mile delivery network to deliver packages to their end customers in a service called Amazon Shipping. So again, like I talked about earlier, this was something that Amazon needed themselves because they were paying so much for delivery and they were needing more customizable features in their delivery service. So they built out their own delivery service, improved it, studied it, found ways to optimize and lower cost to serve, and they got so good at that part of the business, they now broke that off, and now they sell that as a service to those who want to manage their own inventory, but just use Amazon for that last mile shipping. And so yet another example of how Amazon has built these competitive advantages. And they go on here. I could give you several other examples, but it's a lot of the same story of Amazon needing something for themselves in their own business and building it out, getting really good at that process, perfecting it to a point where they could do it better than what's available in the market, and then they can sell that to those in the market for that service. And they've built that a number of different examples and built that all up, and now Amazon generates significant competitive advantages because of that skill in building, perfecting, optimizing, cutting it off, and being able to sell that specific thing as a standalone service to businesses, merchants, advertisers, merchants, tech entrepreneurs, software developers, etc., etc. Did you know that over 90% of the people that watch my channel are not subscribed? It'll really help support my channel if you hit that subscribe button. And oh, by the way, one of the benefits of being subscribed is that I take requests from subscribers more often than I do from non-subscribers. So if you prefer that benefit, please subscribe to the channel.